Hello, this is Club Growth Director Bram Mimon from District 86. Today we have Kanika on the call, and she is from BASF Corporate Club, and we will find out how they succeeded in having 62 members at the year end, June 2021. Kanika, welcome.
Hi, Bram. Thank you very much for having me.
Kanika, what's your full name, by the way? Sorry, I forget.
It's Kanika Johnson.
Kanika Johnson. Now, tell us a little bit about the corporate club at BASF. How long has it been in existence?
Well, Bram, we just celebrated our 5th year as a chartered club.
Right.
BASF Canada is a chemical company, and this is a corporate club.
Mhm.
I've been with them myself for about 3 years now, since I started with the company.
Uh-huh.
And we have always hosted hybrid meetings, meaning that you could meet with us at head office, or you could log in via WebEx. That's our preferred channel,
Uh-huh.
anywhere across Canada. So we boast members not only in Canada from BC out east, but
Uh-huh.
also into the south, into the United States. We have a couple
Wow.
of members in Texas and Michigan, and we're growing all the time.
Wow, amazing. So, last year, towards the end of last year, you had, I don't know, 30, 40 members join, maybe more, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was a very special opportunity. Basically started in May. We signed up almost 60 student interns from across Canada. So
Uh-huh.
that was the reason for our growth. Additionally to that, we had a couple of open houses. There was actually
Right.
an international BASF corporate open house that was done over the course of a full day, depending on where you could log in via time zones.
Mhm.
We also pushed some membership by virtue of our 5-year anniversary and some other kind of themed events. And at my site, so I work at a Toronto site at BASF Canada, I
Oh.
try to push some growth there as well, because we have
Uh-huh.
several sites across Canada and into the
Right.
United States as well.
Wow. So you have members from all over North America basically logging in to your club meetings.
100%.
Amazing. Now, how were you able to sort of ask those who attended the open house to become members? I mean, what did you do, and what were some of your techniques of selling? I mean, it was a selling technique, right? I mean, what led up to that moment where they said, okay, yeah, I think I should join?
For me, it's personalization. So often when I send out these invitations, it's with a specific agenda in mind. So, for example, at the Toronto site, I invited some of my colleagues to a specific meeting, but with one of them, not only was I interested in getting her to become a Toastmasters, but I actually wanted her to be a mentor of my own.
Oh.
So that meeting theme was about mentors, and then I asked her if she'd be my mentor, and now not only is she my mentor, but I act a little bit as her mentor in our Toastmasters meetings. So I was very specific with that. There were a few other people that joined us that day, and follow-up is extremely important, but they had fun. None of them signed up, not this time, but we try to do regular meetings in that same venue, invite them back out so they get comfortable with it.
Right.
And this has translated into our work life. So beyond Toastmasters and into our company as a whole, I am usually responsible for helping to conduct safety meetings at our site. And now more people are getting more comfortable doing those safety meetings because they've gotten a little bit extra training by virtue of attending Toastmasters meetings.
Uh-huh. So follow-up was very, very important after the open houses.
Definitely. Yes, it makes people feel that they have support, and also it opens up channels where I can just be friendly with people, because I think that's
Right.
what's most important about Toastmasters is
Mhm.
kind of the friendships you start developing.
Definitely. I will pass this on to Jayapriya for questions because I know she's got some burning questions. She's actually an expert on corporate clubs.
Awesome. Hi,
And
Jayapriya.
yeah, Kanika. Previously, I have been also associated with a corporate club, and I would like to understand how you handled the last minute dropouts in case if any meetings are getting happen. If you have any company engagements, how did you handle that?
Well, one of the things that I learned is to seek that type of rejection, if you will. So one of the things that can hurt you is assigning roles and not following up with people before the meeting. So after I've assigned the roles, I'll actually reach out with a personal email and be like, maybe I'll say, okay, you signed up for this role. Here are some additional resources to help you complete the role. Or if I'm not getting the response from the person, just say, hey, I haven't heard from you. Are you going to be able to do this role? And then finally, I'm prepared myself to fill in the roles as well.
So you know what I get here, Jayapriya, is that Kanika is very good at follow-up, personalization. So it's one-on-one. It's like really actually connecting with the person rather than sending out a mass email. She's actually focusing on the person and seeing the person as a human being rather than a mass email. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes, of course, because only a personalized connect and the real feedback when we are sharing with the members, even after the meetings, that makes them to feel good. Yes, there is some takeaway for me, and this person is approaching me truly for my personal development. When that message is rightly conveyed, automatically the growth of the club is completely taken care. And I really love the way Kanika had handled all these. And Kanika, I would like to understand what kind of education sessions you had for corporate members, because was it focused towards more on the business aspects? Because these kind of education sessions which you conducted, if you can share the names of the strategic management or a time management, that will be really helpful for us to know further how we can drive it.
That's a really good question. Presently, I kind of stay with that personal side because that's what most struck me about joining BASF Canada Toastmasters. It was how personal we are in our meetings. We call our class BASF for bold, appreciative, safe, and fun. And it's definitely a place where you can feel safe being bold. So that I started hearing a lot of personal stories from my colleagues, and I felt that those personal stories were better able to translate into good speeches. So personally, that's what I kind of promote when I am getting a new member included into our club. I almost stray away from that work aspect because work is work and work is boring and work is hard. And I want our meetings instead to be fun and easy and light, because that's where I feel that you can best connect with someone. But with that in mind, something that we're trying to do now to keep our recruitment momentum going is stressing the ways that it is really important for work. So we're starting to reach out more now, not just to our colleagues, but to their managers. So managers can understand, hey, you can put involvement in Toastmasters into maybe a performance development plan that's going to encourage colleagues to develop and grow. Additionally, there are lots of meetings that are going on within BASF Canada at any one time. So we're trying to get a little bit more feedback out to our colleagues, letting them know, hey, you're putting on this presentation, great. We can enhance that. And that will make it easier for them to have meetings that are not only informative, but very engaging. And that's what we're trying to do as a club.
I really loved your approach, and this is definitely an useful insight for us to take it forward when we are discussing with other corporate clubs as well. And would like to understand, did you had any special recognition schemes for the Toastmasters along with your management? How did you recognize them for their achievements?
Well, as the VP of Ed, I'm very regular with sending out, the celebrations when somebody achieves new levels. Not only do I inform their supervisor, but the whole club gets to know as well. We make sure that they're recognized again in our meetings. And we take lots of pictures so that we can see a progression of the team as we grow, as maybe there are meetings that are a little bit more intimate, and letting everybody know what we're doing. And this is shared not just within our group, but within BASF international groups. And throughout the company, we'll sometimes share that in our communication newsletters as well.
Yeah. So these are all good ideas and strategies that they have followed, Ram. Maybe these are good points which we can have it as
Yes.
sharing when we are going to have the launch meeting discussion with other corporate clubs as well.
Definitely.
And would you like to add any more points to the promotional strategies Kanika had said, Ram?
Yeah.
Well,
as it regards growing our membership, I leaned on those recruitment efforts from our HR team that were working on our student interns. So every student intern is given the opportunity to participate. We personalized a workshop for them, and going into the new year, that actually have their own kind of Toastmaster sessions that are a little bit different from what we do regularly as part of the larger group. But that was one place where recruitment was really fresh. Kids are definitely interested in learning a lot more. They know that they can use these skills in any career once they get out of school. And it was really important as well that we're connecting with them as a company, because we want them to come back after we've invested so much time and energy into getting them into those roles all across Canada.
I'm curious, Kanika, who pays for these interns? Do they pay for themselves, the membership fee, or?
We're really lucky. Our company really stresses development and growth so that each business group actually pays for the kids. So it's not out of pocket for our colleagues at all.
Wow. That's really supporting the employees. They become like human capital rather than human resource.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that idea. However, there's some companies that insist the people themselves, the members themselves, pay for themselves. The reason being then there's a vested interest in what they are doing rather than the company taking the onus, and then there may not be a vested interest because if you haven't paid for it, then and you just may not be that interested. What's your view on that, Kanika?
If I had to pay for Toastmasters, it would have taken a lot more longer for me to get involved. I've been interested in Toastmasters for maybe 10 years. I first got introduced at another company in 2014, but I didn't want to sign up because I didn't want to pay for it. When I learned it was available free at BASF Canada, I signed up within 3 months. Now, what is also important there, you don't want the company to pay for the program as a blanket. We still have to show that we're interested and then get our fees personally paid for. And then that vested interest that you're looking for is there. But the company shouldn't pay for it for everyone, regardless of whether they're interested or not. Show some interest in it. It's available to you. Take advantage of it. That's what I think is the key.
How do you assess if somebody is interested in the program?
That's actually a really good question, too. You have to ask them. Again, going back to being personal in your email, ask them. Start up a conversation. Some of the feedback emails that I'm constructing right now, it stresses the things that we see that are going really well, and then maybe some room for improvement for what we've personally learned. One of the things that I learned, I think the most important thing that I've learned working with Toastmasters is how to be concise in my speech, learning how not to be so long-winded. And that is something that I've translated and encouraged other people to do as well. Because some people need to learn how to speak up, some need to learn how to shut up. And I was definitely one of the ones that had to learn how to shut up.
In this, to add to what Brahm was asking, the assessment, if there are a group of people to whom you have given a demonstration or a personalized workshop, from that, how do you filter the right people for the club? That we would like to understand, because not all the 100 people you will be able to enroll. You will have some assessment methods to filter out from that interested group. How do you do that?
Well, one of the ways is by seeking volunteers. So people that try to get themselves actively involved in the workshops or the presentation, those ones are usually the easiest to reach out to. And then anyone that, it's usually they're being proactive with their own interests. I'm not trying to chase anybody down. I don't think if I did that, that person would have a very good experience. So instead, what we try to do, if anyone shows their interest, we provide them with all the resources and the follow-up.
Yeah, so that's also a good strategy on rather than chasing them based upon what interest level they are showing in turning up and attending for the events. Based upon that, if the sponsorship is given, I'm sure that's going to be a win-win situation for both the employers as well as the employees who are getting benefited from the corporate company.
Yeah.
This is awesome, Kanika. So any last words, Kanika, for other corporate clubs that will get inspired by what you have to offer at BASF?
Yeah. Well, just keep doing what you're doing. I think having a corporate club makes Toastmasters so much more accessible. You're already going to work, so you might as well take advantage of what's being offered there. Right. I do think it would have been an additional and a little bit of an obstacle to seek a club in my local area. It was very convenient that it's part of work.
Right. So, if I were to summarize, Kanika, it is first, what I got was personalization, follow up individually. In actually the meetings themselves, you're more focused on personal stories that make up good speeches rather than work-related speeches and stuff like that. When people have finished their levels, you actually reach out to the supervisor because it's part of their performance development plan. And you also celebrate, right, their successes and so on. And all those things really make up for a strong corporate club. Jayapriya, what do you think as we finish?
Yes, and the key point which I really loved is her strategic management on approaching the members and also the assessment, because these two things are really important for a successful launching as well as development of a corporate club.
I think, I actually learned a few things here today. Kanika, over to you. Sorry.
I was just going to say, in addition to that strategic element, what I do is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have a reminder in my calendar that pops up. And it gives me different tasks every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and at the beginning of the month. And that's one of the reasons I've stayed on top of this as well. I can't remember to reach out to everyone every day or to make agendas or to assign tasks. This reminds me. It just pops up. Right. I just look at the tasks for the day. I do the task. I do the task rather mindlessly, to be honest, but it gets done. And then it's consistent. And again, the work gets done and we don't have to worry. There's nothing falling through the cracks, and everyone feels that they're getting regular communication, which is really important too.
Effective use of calendar, of course, definitely. What I would suggest for those who will be listening to this interview is that if you're a member of a corporate club, put it in your calendar that on this day, at this time, you are supposed to be attending the meeting at Toastmasters and not one of your manager's meetings. So when a manager requests a meeting, say, no, I'm going for my personal development. This is my personal development hour. That's where I will
Yeah.
be. I can't take this meeting with you right now. So you have to manage
Make it
upwards as
public.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us, Kanika. Stay on the line though. We'll speak to you a little bit more after we finish this interview. But thank you so much for being here with us.
And thank
Thank
you for
you.
inviting me.